Namaste, welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be teaching an absolute beginner's class. So this would be for somebody who has either never done yoga before, or perhaps somebody who has done a few classes and wants to give it another try. Maybe for someone who feels like they're still a beginner, still getting into, what yoga is all about, and is interested in understanding in a deeper way the real feelings of yoga, the breathing, the movement, the strengthening, the stretching. I'm going to be explaining these as we do the movements today. So without further ado, please join me in a seated position on your mat. When you've come to sit, begin to focus on your breath. I know the breath can become quite intimidating in yoga, but let's just try and focus on our breath for what it is. If it's slow, if you can feel the rise and fall of your chest, what parts of your body move while you breathe. Imagining the air coming in and out of your lungs, as if you could see it, as if it had a color. Allowing other thoughts to disappear. I want you to think about setting an intention for your practice today. And while we go through the movements, just keep that intention in your mind. Take a deep breath. Allow that intention to swirl around your body. All right, open your eyes. We're going to do our first pose, which is going to be a seated twist. So bringing your left hand to your right knee and your right arm out behind you. Twist towards your right, keeping your spine lengthened. Turn your head along with your body. The most important thing is to think about both of your sit bones on the ground. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right hand to left knee and pull yourself to the left side. Twists are really good for our organs. They actually sort of massage them. They're really good for our spine and spine flexibility, increasing the synovial fluid, helping for a healthier, happier, painless spine. Come back to center. Bring your right hand beside you. Begin to lift your left arm up and over, stretching your side body. If it is in your practice, you may lower your arm so that your elbow actually will lie on the mat. But if this is not what your body is feeling today, that is completely okay. In yoga, we just do what feels good for us, and we don't continue if our body is telling us that it's just going too far. So once again, going to the other side, making sure that we're keeping both our sit bones on the ground. Reaching those fingers. It's okay to feel that stretch. Feeling a stretch is sort of like a good pain. You want to avoid the bad pain. So pinching, something that feels quite unbearable, would be something that you don't want to be feeling. So now we're going to come to a tabletop position. Setting your foundation, have your knees stacked underneath your hips, your wrists stacked underneath your shoulders. Lengthen your spine, have your chin facing towards the ground. The tops of your feet should be flat on the mat. Once your foundation is set, we're going to begin to round the spine and tuck the chin into cat pose. So you're sort of squeezing your abdominal muscles. Now we're going to go the other way and open up our chest, stretching our abdominal muscles into cow. Start to flow into this movement, rounding the spine, tucking the chin, opening the spine, arching the back, lifting the chin. Continue in this movement and try to add your breath to this movement. So inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, come into cat. Coming back to a neutral spine, begin to bring your right leg out behind you and place your toes on the ground. Push yourself back towards your right heel and pulse if you feel like you need to. We want to try and stretch out our hamstring. So just use your hands to push yourself back towards your right heel. Keeping your foundation, switch to the left side and push back to the left heel. You should be feeling a little bit of a stretch in your hamstrings. Just releasing that tension in the back of our legs. Come back to a neutral position. We're going to go into what's called downward dog. So tuck your toes, sort of like how we had in the last pose. Begin to slowly lift your pelvis up towards the sky as you lengthen your spine, pushing out through your shoulders, keeping your knees slightly bent. We are now in downward dog. If you feel like you can go further, you may straighten your legs. Or if you want to loosen up a little bit more, begin to walk out your legs. So sort of bending one knee and straightening the other, bending the other and straightening the other, and alternating. This is also known as walking out your dog. Coming back to our foundation, what we really want is our hands flat on the ground, our arms straight, our shoulders to be drawing down our backs, our spine to be lengthened, and legs hip-width distance apart. Come to look forward towards the top of your mat and walk your feet towards your hands. Keep a bend in the knee as you fold forward. Allow yourself to slowly come into this position. We're going to grab both of our elbows and allow the top of your body to relax. So your head, neck, shoulders to sort of just dangle, sway from side to side, loosening up your body. Slowly begin to rise up to a standing position. Let go of your elbows and bring your hands on either side of you. This is also known as mountain pose. Spread your fingers out wide. Begin to lift your arms up to reach the sky. Palms together. Fold forward. Reach the floor. Keep a bend in the knee. Forward fold. Come up halfway, lengthen your spine, hands to reach just above your knee or on your knee, wherever is comfortable for you. Fold back down. Place your hands firmly on the ground as you come into a plank position. Focus on lengthening your spine, pushing your shoulders out. Slowly lower down onto your tummy. Bring your hands just underneath your shoulders and slowly begin to lift your body up into cobra pose. Tuck your toes, lift back up into downward facing dog. So that was an example of a flow. So if that is your first flow, amazing job. Lower your knees back down to your mat, push your bum towards your feet, reach out your hands and come into child's pose. This is a resting pose, sometimes taken in between flows to help just recuperate our body, take a breath in between practice so that we don't get overwhelmed. And this is something that you can actually come back to throughout your yoga journey. If you ever feel overwhelmed in a class, this is the pose that you come to. So take a breath here. Notice how you feel. Notice the benefits of yoga already taking over your body. Alright, come back up to tabletop position. Take one last breath here. Flip your body over, bring your legs out in front of you, and slowly lower down to your back. Reach your legs out in front of you. Slowly bring your right knee to your chest. Give your knee a little hug. Then begin to bring your right knee over your body to reach the other side of your mat. Bring your right arm out. Notice if your right shoulder is lifting up off the ground, that means you've gone too far. It's very important to keep both shoulders glued to your mat. Reach your right arm out on the side of you. Turn your gaze towards that right arm. This is a supine twist. Just breathe into this pose. Alright, come back up. Give your knee another little hug. Now bring your right heel to meet your left knee. Lift your left knee up and bring your hands underneath your left knee. Begin to pull your leg towards your chest, stretching your right glute. This should feel quite good. With each breath, try to pull a little bit more just to deepen the stretch along with your breathing. This is called supine pigeon. Alright, bringing your right leg out and hugging your left knee to your chest. Begin to do that same twist, keeping both shoulders glued to the mat. Your left arm out and your gaze towards your left hand. Breathe into this pose. Notice how it feels. Notice how your body feels. Bring your leg back up and give your left knee one more hug. Bring your left ankle to meet your right knee. Place your hands underneath your right knee and begin to pull your leg towards your chest, stretching that glute. With each breath, go a little bit deeper with this one. This is an awesome hip opener. It is very, very common, very, very popular. You are definitely going to be doing a lot of pigeons. And it just so happens to be one of my favorite poses. Begin to reach your legs out in front of you and come into our final pose, Shavasana. It's here where you will allow the benefits of your practice to sink into your body as you allow yourself to melt into your mat. I encourage you to stay here and notice how you feel about yoga and be excited for this new journey if this is a new journey for you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this beginner's flow.